4, 3, 2, 1. All right, well, what's going on, everybody, man? What's going on? We back at it. How you doing, guys? Today you'll discover my 3-step process for coloring my drawings, which will improve your understanding of color theory, shading, and rendering, guys. Who's excited about today? Drop some fire emojis in the chat, everybody, man. So good to see you. So good to see you, chat. How you doing? Oh, man. Why is everybody dropping some random numbers, though? I don't know what's that for. How you doing, guys? I'm really excited about today. And how you doing? You're just getting up with the comments right now. So good to see you, man. There's so many people in the chat. How you doing? I appreciate all the love, guys. Thank you for all the support. I know I've done this like 2 days in a row, but I'm still like a little nervous to kind of show you all this stuff and really get into the coloring. But I'm super excited. Somebody says my mic is really quiet. It's just as regular. I'm really excited for the day, guys, and to kind of show you some color secrets, because if you look at my old art right here, color is something that I used to struggle a lot with, and I mean a lot, you know. And I really know what colors I kind of had to pick so they look good together, and no matter kind of how many colors I added, it never really looked alive and kind of, you know, real, and you'd always feel kind of just muddy and dull. And yet, color theory just kind of felt very overwhelming to me, and I didn't really know how to actually apply it to my art. Does any of that sound familiar to you guys? And it wasn't until I was really able to kind of develop a specific method for myself that I was able to improve and really reach the professional level that I was looking for, where my colors would really look natural and harmonious. And this method that I've developed is really made up of these 2 different techniques. You guys remember the 2 techniques, all right, that I've been showing you? So the first is called X-ray sketching, which really shows you the hidden structure and invisible lines of the face, which improves your proportions, perspective, and anatomy. And the second technique is what I call color stacking, which shows you how to pick colors that look good together, where to place the lights and the shadows, and how to achieve that final finished look that makes your portraits look real, which really improves your color theory, shading, and rendering. And these 2 techniques, guys, make up what I call the build-up method, which is a complete approach to painting the portraits you imagine from start to finish, bridging the gap between theory and practice, and connecting fundamentals with an actual drawing process, all right? And I've told you guys, my goal with this challenge right here is not to just share with you all these techniques and teach them to you, but to also really show you that it's possible for anybody to improve a drawing. And I've been kind of sharing with you some of the students that I've had to show you how much you could really progress. And if you were here yesterday, you guys remember my student Breno right here, and he was kind of really feeling like something was missing in his work, and this is the amazing progress that he was able to achieve like in less than a year. How crazy is this, guys? I'm always, by the way, I gotta say this, I always get amazed when I see Breno's work. Like, I could see this. I mean, I was there when it happened, and I was like seeing all the steps and how he gradually improved. And yet every time I see that like transformation, it always like, I'm like, oh my God, it's crazy. And before the build-up method, Breno was really just feeling like something was missing, and no matter how many original characters he was drawing, he kind of felt stuck with his progress. And thanks to the method, he was able to paint the characters he really imagined and make them look real and professional. Super proud of Breno, and he's just one of the students, guys, that I've been showing you who have kind of helped with the build-up method. And I know, guys, I know this is possible for you as well, all right? I've seen it like countless of times, which is really why I'm showing you this method right here. And if you watched yesterday, you already have half of the answer because I showed you the first technique, and you just kind of discovered the 4 different steps of X-ray sketching. You guys remember the 4 steps, man? Let me see who's been paying attention. The first step is the angles and the perspective of the head. The second step helps you to really capture the accurate proportions. The third step helps you with the bigger anatomy on the face. And the fourth step helps you with really the anatomy of the features. And X-ray sketching is really based on these invisible lines that is really the underlying structure, all right? And today, guys, we're gonna start coloring our sketch right here using really the second half of the build-up method. I'm just really excited to be sharing all these things with you. I haven't really shared them kind of publicly anywhere until now, so I'm a little nervous and excited as well. And remember guys, it's not just like a long tutorial, but an actual drawing challenge where I hope that you'll be doing your own portrait drawing, so you can really apply everything I'm showing you, can really improve your own art, you know. And if you still haven't seen this challenge for some reason, I don't know how you wouldn't. I've been like posting it everywhere, talking all about it, so I don't know how you wouldn't. But if you haven't, it's called the 5-day portrait challenge, and we're currently in day 3. All right, so there's still time for you guys to join this challenge and join us on this improvement journey. And I want to give a quick shout out, guys, to everybody who's been posting their work in the day 2 channel. You guys are crazy, man. I've been checking your work since this morning, and there's just so, like, every time I go into the Discord, you guys just have more portraits to share, and it's so awesome. I think I've seen every single one since yesterday, so I'm super proud of you guys. You're doing amazing, and you're already improving. So you guys are the real goats. All right, you guys are action takers. This is what it is. So yeah, really props for you guys to joining this challenge and really kind of taking the time out of your day to really improve at art. And I also saw some comments about like the replays of these 5 days, and I just want to let you know guys that on our website 5dayportrait.com you can actually catch all the 5 days for free until the end of the challenge. So we built this special platform right here just for this challenge, so you can watch all the replays for free until the end of the challenge. So 5dayportrait.com. Make sure you're registered for free on with your email. You also join our giveaway, all the materials, all that stuff. Man, you don't know how many things we've done prepared for you, man. Why you playing? Why you playing like you ain't know? You know what you know. That's that's what you know. All right, with all that out of the way, guys, let's get into the second technique of the build-up method and how it works. And guys, let me ask you in the chat, who here struggles with colors, guys? All right, let me see how many strugglers. Drop a yes if you struggle with color. You just kind of feel overwhelmed by color theory. You're not really sure what colors to pick and how to really approach the coloring process. All right, let me see how many color strugglers we got out here, guys. Me. Yes. I love it, guys. I love seeing. I mean, I don't love the fact that you struggle. I don't like that. I love the fact that you tell me that you struggle, because I love this back and forth with the chat. It's so cool. So I love when you guys answer me. This is really cool. All right, and you've seen, guys, I've struggled with the same exact things with muddy colors and all of those real problems with colors. And I remember I was actually talking to one of my very first students. His name is Varun right here, who really struggled with colors. And I remember that he showed me his traditional sketches right here, and he said that he really wanted to paint with color. But, you know, he said that he had only done like a few digital paintings because he didn't really know where to get started with color. And he said he tried watching some color theory videos, and although they kind of seemed interesting, he just didn't really know how to apply them. And I remember we was talking with Varun, and he put up one of my paintings, and he just asked me like, how do you do good colors? Like, he was just like straight up like, how do you do good colors and make your portraits look real? And you know, like, I have gotten that question like many times, and I understand why he was overwhelmed, because if you kind of look at a reference, right, and you kind of just color pick it, there's just so many different colors, right? I would even zoom in right here. You can kind of see there's just like an infinite amount of colors, right? So it's like, bro, where do you even get started, you know? And it's only natural to just kind of feel overwhelmed with colors. But I wanted to really show Varun that it's actually not that complex. So I showed him that before the final stage, my painting actually looked like this, right? And if you look closely, you can actually see that there's only like a few colors, right? And the forehead is the same color as the nose, and under the nose is the same color as the neck, right? So you see kind of how it's only like a few colors that I'm using. And it's only after that I've kind of stacked these few colors and I blend them together that I'm able to really get like this infinite amount of colors that just look so many, right? Does that make sense to you guys? And as I was showing him this to Varun for the first time, I remember he was just kind of pointing out that I wasn't painting all the colors that I was seeing in the reference, you know? And to me, that was something very kind of obvious because it's something that I kind of just done intuitively for so long that I didn't really think twice about it, you know? But for him, that was like totally new, right? And at that moment, I kind of had like a realization. Like I realized why colors were so overwhelming to Varun, because he thought that to make your painting look real, like you have to paint all of the exact colors that you're seeing, right? So I wanted to really show Varun how to pick colors that look good together without having to paint every single color that you're seeing, you know? But as I started to explain, like Varun just had all these questions like, what colors do you begin with? What colors to pick for the lights and shadows? Where to place each color? And there was just all these different questions. And as I started answering them, I kind of realized, oh man, I had gained all this knowledge about like color theory and lighting and all these kind of different knowledge from these different traditional masters and books. But I didn't want to overwhelm Varun, right? With all of these theory that had just kind of taken me like literal years to kind of go through and apply to portraits. So I really wanted to just find ways where I could really like explain all this theory that would be understandable and applicable for someone who was just kind of getting started with color, right? And I really wanted to just create this like simple color process for picking colors that could really allow him to just be able to follow without any overwhelming theory. And as I kind of kept testing what kind of made sense to him and what didn't, I slowly developed he was kind of like, yeah, kind of and I slowly kind of developed this new way of coloring, and through teaching it to countless of students, I kind of refined it even more, and I decided to call it like color stacking, because if we take a look at how the actual process works, we start out with just one color for each object, right? So there's only one color for the skin, there's only one color for the hair, and then I add only one color on top for the skin. So you see how I'm really adding just one color on top of each other, right? So you see how I'm really just stacking these colors on top of each other. And once I have kind of done that, I'll apply the same to the hair and to the clothes. And it's only after that I have stacked all these colors, when I blend them and I soften them, we're really able to kind of see this infinite colors that we're seeing. But underneath this, right? Underneath, let me zoom in for you guys. Underneath this, it's only these few colors that are in the painting. Does that make sense to you guys though? All right. So this is really how, thanks to working with students, I was able to really come up with these 3 clear steps to coloring any portrait. First, only using just single colors, flat colors like this. Then second, adding shading, lights and shadows, only like a few colors, only using like a few colors. And then finally really mixing them and blending them together to achieve the final effect. All right, you guys are saying yes, yes, yes. Now I'm super happy that this is making sense, guys. And we're yet to kind of go into one of these steps and understand how it works. Somebody said forbidden knowledge. This is what it is. This is what it is. We're dropping the forbidden knowledge right here. We're yet to kind of go into each one of these steps, but I just really wanted to make sure everything is kind of making sense so far with color stacking. So that's really color stacking, guys, and we'll now begin actually using it with the first step right here. I have my canvas prepared. So as usual, we have the reference at the top left, where I'm gonna be kind of breaking down the colors, showing you, somebody said, show us the color magic. This is what it is. I'm gonna be showing you the color magic on top of the reference right here, breaking it down, and then at the bottom left right here, I'm gonna be showing you like some more color magic with kind of how to pick the colors and some you'll see, you'll see some color palette stuff. And somebody said, does that make sense? Needs to be on a shirt as Angel merch. Oh my god, that's such a great idea. Next time I do this challenge, I'm gonna have a shirt that just says, does that make sense? And I'm gonna just not even speak. I'm gonna just look directly into the camera. I'm gonna just pull up my shirt. You see what he says. You see what he says. That's really it. All right, so we have the sketch right here on the right where I'm gonna be coloring it. So let's get started. And I always like to start with painting the color of the skin, the initial color of the skin, all right? But where does that color come from? How do we pick it, all right? That's always the question, right? And as you've seen, guys, you know, underneath the final, there's only like these few colors. So there's like this color right here, there's this color right here, and there's like this color right here, right? Now, I begin with this color right here, but what is that color and where does that come from, right? Now that's called the base color, all right? And the base color is not going to be the brightest color, so it's not gonna be this, and it's not gonna be the darkest color. So the base color is really in between the lights and the shadows. So it's really this color right here that is going to be the base. Now to find this color, I'm actually squinting. I know that sounds weird, but like when you squint, you can actually do it right now and you see kind of how we're not seeing that many of the infinite colors and we're actually starting to see more of the general color. So I want you to squint right now and look at the general color inside this black circle right here, okay? That's the base color that I'm seeing and that I'm looking at, right? Does that make sense, guys? All right, you've seen the shirt, you're seeing the shirt. So that's the base color. So I'm seeing this peachy color, and in order to pick it, I'll go into the oranges and I'll just try like a few different colors, and I can kind of adjust them and try out, like see which one kind of feels closer to what I'm seeing. Now there's obviously not just one exact color, right? Like there's many. So I'm just kind of adjusting the color, seeing which one matches more. But to adjust the color, there's actually this tool that I'm using that allows me to much more easily adjust the colors. And it's this one right here called color sliders, all right? Now, in Clip Studio Paint, those are found under window color sliders, and in other apps, they might be found in a slightly similar place. So that's what I use instead of the color cube, all right? So let's say, for example, I have this color right here that I've kind of selected. Now it feels a little dark, so I can just kind of brighten it up by going on the bottom slider and then just like bringing that higher, and that would give me like a lighter color. Now that feels a little too desaturated, so I can just kind of increase the saturation with the middle slider, all right? So that's the middle slider, and now it feels a little too yellow, right? So I could push it a little bit more towards the oranges and the reds, and then that's how I can kind of get this more of a peachy color right here. So that's the color that I'll be using for the base color of the skin. So starting on a new layer, I just use a big opaque brush and I'm painting this color right here everywhere where the skin is. And for now, I'm not gonna just be precise. It's just all about like this base color right here, all right? Now, you can think about this base color as an actual base, all right? It's literally like a base like this. And the shadow colors are really going to be related to this base color right here, right? You're seeing this? Let me zoom in for you. So the shadows are going to be related to this base color. So if you actually look at my process right here, you can see how, let me close all this. You can see how I'm starting with this base color right here. Then on top, we have this shadow color, right? There's this bigger shadow in the face, right? This one right here. And then there's an even darker shadow that is actually even kind of darker and smaller that is inside the bigger shadow, right? So this right here, you can see how these shadow colors look good together because they're really a variation of that base color, right? Now, where do you actually pick? How do you actually pick those shadow colors? And it's actually really simple. Once you have this base color that I showed you where it's at, to pick the shadow colors, I simply go darker and I go more saturated. Probably too dark. And I go a couple of points more towards the red, and then that's how I'll get this shadow color right here. And if I wanted to go an even darker shadow, I'll go even darker, even more saturated, and a couple of more points towards the red. And then that's how I'll get an even darker shadow. And this right here is what I call the color stack. And this color stack is really the colors that I'm gonna be using for the skin. Does that make sense, guys? Everybody saying slow down, slow down. All right, I'm just so excited to kind of get through everything. This is the way that I would pick the base color, by looking at this circle, and then I would pick the shadow colors based on this base color, right? And that's really the colors that I'm using for the skin. All right, let me drink some water. All right. Yes. I'm happy. This is making sense. Some people saying slow down. All right. We're gonna slow down. All right. So, all right. Let's kind of use this example right here to use it for the hair, so you can kind of guys see it again and understand it better. All right. So if you look at the hair, let's pick the base color for the hair. All right. So it's not going to be, let me zoom in. So it's not going to be the brightest color here. All right. It's not going to be the darkest color. It's going to be one of these in between browns, right? So like a brown like this. That's going to be the base color. Now, when picking this base color for the hair, you can either pick it manually, or what I like to do is I like to just select the color of the skin and then just kind of go darker, because darker, like brown, is just a darker orange. And then to get like more of this color, like it's more saturated, I can just increase the saturation right here. And I feel like it's a little too light, so I would just go a bit darker. So that's the color that I would pick for the hair. So right here on a new layer, I would just kind of fill up everywhere where the color of the hair is, right? So that will be the base color for the hair, okay? So I like to kind of select base colors that I already have and slightly adjust them in order for the colors to look more like they're relating to each other. And then in here, I will just fill up everywhere where the hair is. And I find it really useful that when the base colors are on separate layers, so that way I can actually get the eraser and erase out like more of the places that are outside of the lines. So I'm kind of trying to stay within the lines, and it's almost like this color book, right? And this really helps me to get the silhouette of where the painting is going to be. And you can kind of zoom in to refine more of the painting right here, all right? And then I could do the same with the skin. So I can go into the layer of the skin and then just kind of erase down like where the skin is going to be outside of the lines. Now that's a little bit of a, sometimes a little bit boring, but it's going to allow us later into the shading to actually shade a lot faster, because we're going to be using all these shapes right here. So that's kind of how I would paint and clean up the skin right here. So that's the base color for the skin, and that's the base color for the hair. Probably even cleaned it up a little bit here as well. Now, if I wanted to pick a shadow color for this base of the hair, I could go dark, do the same thing that I did for the skin. I'll go darker, more saturated, and a couple more points towards the red. And then that's how I'll get like a darker version of that base for the shadow. And then if I wanted to get an even darker color, I'll go even darker, even more saturated, couple more points towards the red. And then that's how I'll get this color stack right here for the hair. Somebody in the comments says this is the poop method. That's really what it is. This really it is. So if you look at the process, right here, you could see that same thing happening. So I'm using this base color right here, the base, and then on top we have this darker variation for the shadow, and then inside that we have a smaller, even darker shadow, right? Now when you look at the color stack right here, oh no, you guys renamed it. I think this is the poop method now. This is too bad. When you look at the color stack, you don't really see that much of a difference in the colors, right? But when you look at the way that we have kind of stacked the colors, you're seeing kind of how there's more depth in our painting that's actually happening, right? So that's why I find it really useful to follow this color stack. And actually, guys, everybody just posting the poop emoji. How did I not think about that though? How did I not think about it? I would have probably not named it like that, but this is too late now. I think that's a thing. I think that's a thing now, right? Okay. We're going with it, all right. So this is really the color stack for the skin, and this is the color stack for the hair. So you see that every time that an object has a different color, it would have a different base, and it would have its own color stack. Does that make sense, guys? All right, you following with the poop method? All right, that's really it. Oh man. Yeah. So we have these two different color stacks. So now let's take a look at the headband, and let's pick the color stack and the base color for there. Actually, before the headband, let's take a look at the eyebrows and the eyes first. Let me show you what I'll do there, okay? Now, if you look at the eyebrows, there's a lot of different colors in there, right? Like there's just like a lot of colors. And if you look at the eyes, there's also a lot of different colors. Like there's these greens, there's these blues, there's a lot of different colors, right? Now, those colors look different than the hair, right? But if you think about it, eyebrows are essentially hair. So I would just use the same color that I did for the hair. I would use it in the eyebrows. So I would just fill up this whole eyebrow here. And then I would add, let me just fill it up real quick, clean it up, and then I would even use the same color in the iris. Okay, so I will fill up this whole iris right here, just this full circle. Now if you look at the final step of color stacking, we actually have a lot of different colors in the eyebrows, right? Like in here we just have all these different colors, and there's all these different colors in the eye, right? But in the first step of color stacking, I'm actually using the same color for the base of those colors, right? So that way those colors could actually look more harmonious. So once I have them with one color, I can always add more colors later, but that way they actually look more like they're relating to each other, and then that's how I'm able to kind of add more colors on top of each other without them looking actually messy, because underneath they're really like the same color, which makes them relate to each other. So you see in this first step, what I'm trying to do is I'm picking base colors and I'm really kind of matching them with each other. So that's why I call this first step of color stacking, I call it color matching, because I'm really just trying to pick base colors and match them together with each other. Does that make sense to you guys? Does the color matching concept make sense? This is color matching of the poop method. You guys done... Oh my God, I spent so much time trying to figure this out, and then somebody said poop method. This really, it sticks though. This really sticks. All right. All right. Yes. Oh, somebody said, oh. Yes. Nice. All right. I'm happy. Cool. So we have the color stack for the skin. We have the color stack for the hair, and you saw kind of how I use it also in the eyebrows and the eyes. Now let's take a look at the headband right here and how to pick the base color for there. So if we look at the headband, there's different blues, so we're not looking at the brightest, the darkest blue, and I'm also not looking at the brightest blue, right? So I'm looking at this middle bluish color right here, right? That would be the base color that I'm looking at. And you can kind of squint inside this black circle to kind of see that color. Now to pick it, I could just go into the blues and I'll go pretty bright and I'll go a little bit saturated, but not too much, right? And then that's how I'll get this base color right here for the headband. And then using a new layer, I would just add this color right here for the whole headband right here. And I'm using like a bigger brush to really fill it up, and then using an eraser to kind of clean up the edges. And I find it useful to kind of clean up the silhouette of the headband, because that really helps later, as I mentioned, with the shading. And if you look at the final, this shape right here of the headband is really what's gonna be visible until like the last stage. So I'm actually like using this time to kind of clean it up. And over here, you can kind of see how the hair is kind of poking behind the back. So I can just go into the I can just go with the eraser of the hair and then just kind of like erase some of this hair. So that way we can actually like show that the headband is overlapping on top. All right. And then if I wanted to pick a shadow color for this headband, I would just do the same thing that I did for the other colors. I'll go darker, and then I'll go more saturated, all right? But in the past, I've told you to go more towards the red. But if you look at right now, there's two different reds, right? There's one on the left and there's one on the right. And the principle that I like to follow is actually go to the closer red that's actually within the color. So if we're in the oranges, I'm gonna go towards the left red, right? Because it's closer. But if I'm in the blues, I would just go towards the red that is closer, which is this one on the right. So to pick a shadow color of this base, I'll go darker, more saturated, and couple of points towards the right red, which is actually towards the purple. And then that's how I'll get this shadow color right here. And if I wanted an even darker one, go even darker, even more saturated, a couple more points, and that's how I'll get like the darkest shadow. And you can kind of see how these colors are really relating to each other, and they're really kind of like really following that base color. All right. So that's really how I create this color stack, and I also call this color shifting. So you see kind of how I'm shifting these sliders in order to create different variations of that color. All right, I hope this is making sense. Oh, somebody said it's making sense. I'm really happy. Let me see who. Kaju Cat. Okay, it made sense to Kaju Cat. That's what's important. Kaju Cat got that. All right. This is the Kaju Cat got the poop method. Loving the poop method. This is really it. All right. So that's the color stack that I would use for the headband. So next, let's take a look at the clothes. And if you look at the clothes and you color pick them, you can see that they're actually like this desaturated blue color, right? And they're actually pretty close to the headband color. So what I can do for this is I can actually use the same exact base color that I used in the headband. I would actually use in the clothes as well. So that way, those colors are actually matching together with each other. And if you remember, this is the same thing that we did in the eyebrows and the irises, right? So I'm looking for ways to really match these base colors, and I'm looking for ways to actually use as little amount of base colors as possible, because I always tell this to students that you can always add more colors. Like, it's much easier to start out with limited amount of colors and add more colors later than it is to start out with many colors and try to make them look good afterwards, right? So this is why I'm looking for these ways where I could pick as little base colors as possible. And I can even use this in the earring, because it's gonna really be like the earring is white, and it could really follow the colors of the headband and the colors of the clothes. So I've essentially matched the colors of the headband, the clothes, and the earring, right? All right, so that's the three color stacks that I have so far. I'm not gonna say it again. I said it too much. All right, the P method. Okay, we could call this the P method though. Sounds a little bit more, like formal. Like like you be like, hey, you know about the P method, right? Nah, that sounds like P though. Oh my, it's either pee or poop. Oh no, that's not good. Guys, we not good with the names though. We're not good with the names. Somebody said the poo method. That's it too. All right. So, somebody said color the ear. Yes, I have actually forgotten right here that the hair wouldn't be actually on top of the ear, and this whole part right here would be gone, and it wouldn't be right here on top of the ear. So there will be just this middle part right here. All right. So that's the color stack for the skin, for the hair. We have the clothes. Next, let's take a look at the base color of this hair tie right here in the back, okay? And you can kind of see how the blue color of this hair tie is very different than, the blue color of the headband, right? So it'll need its own base color. And because these are both blue colors, what I can do is I can select the base color for the headband, and I can just go darker, and then I can go more saturated, probably even darker, more saturated, and then couple points towards the purple, and probably even more saturated and even more towards the purple. And then that's how I'll get this base color right here for the hair tie in the back. Honestly, probably even more saturated. And with this blue color right here, it's actually related to the color stack and the base color that we already have of the clothes and the headband. So if you remember, this is the same thing that I did for the base color in the hair. So I selected the base color for the skin, and I really adjusted these colors with the sliders to achieve the hair color. So the same thing that I'm doing from the skin to the hair is what I'll do from the clothes to the hair tie. And then this blue would actually look like it's relating to the other blues, because it essentially is related to it, right? That's kind of what makes the colors look good together. I hope this is making sense, guys. All right. Somebody said the pyramid method. Pyramid method also cool though. Cake stack is cool. Pyramid is again with a P though. I don't know what's up with this P. So this is the blue that I would use right here for the hair tie in the back. So it'll be just a bigger brush, and I can erase like the silhouette of the hair tie right here on the back, okay? And then we can even erase right here the neck, and this hair that's gonna be overlapping with the hair tie on the back. So that's really the base color for the hair tie. And if I wanted to get a shadow color for this hair tie, I would just do the same thing that I did for the clothes. I would go darker, I would go more saturated, go a couple more points towards the purple, and then that's how I'd get this darker variation. And then if I wanted an even darker shadow, I'd go even darker, more saturated, a couple more points. And the same thing that we saw with the hair, we're not using that much of a, like, we're not seeing that much of a difference in this color stack, right? Like when we look at it. But if you look at the final painting, right, and kind of like the colors that I've used, they're really what creates depth into this hair tie right here in the back, right? So that's the color stack that I'm using in the hair tie, right? Does that make sense, guys? So it might not look that different in the color stack, but it's really what creates depth, and it makes the colors look good as you add more shadows and lights. All right, hope that's making sense. So we have the hair tie in the back. Now let's take a look at the background. Now, when picking a color for the background, I also like to think about of a way to kind of match it along with the portrait so it actually looks good together and it's actually supplementing the portrait. But if we just use the same color as that we did for the clothes and the hairband, the portrait just kind of seems like it's kind of merging too much with the background. So in order for it to actually make the portrait stand out, like the background needs to either be like lighter or darker in order to create contrast. All right. And in the reference, the background is slightly darker, and I kind of like how that looks. So I can just select this base color for the clothes, and then I will just darken it and make it a bit more saturated, and a couple of points towards the purple, and I would get this color right here for the background. Now, if you look at kind of how it was with white, let's take a look right here. Let me just pick this white color. If you look at kind of how it is with white, it feels like it doesn't really match with the painting itself. But with this background color right here, it feels like it's kind of really supplementing the actual portrait. All right, so I'm thinking of ways that I could really match both the background and the colors with each other. So that's the background. Next, let's take a look at the lips. So the lips, they're a different color than the skin, but not too different. So for them, we're again not looking at the brightest color right here, also not looking at the darkest right here, and I'm looking right in between like that, this middle color right here. Okay, now this color is already kind of closer to the skin, so what I can do is I can select that skin base and then I could just make it more red. And this already is kind of close, very close to the lips, but it's a little desaturated, so I'll just increase the saturation for that base color of the lips. So that's what I would use for the base. So on a new layer, I would just kind of add this base color for the lips right here. So that will be this base, and then I would use like a eraser. And if you don't like a certain color, sometimes they look different on the color stack that they do in the painting, so you can try out like a couple and adjust it. Right now, if I wanted to create a shadow for the lips, I would just do the same that I've done for the other color stacks. I'll go darker, I'll go more saturated, and now because it's already like fully red, there's nowhere to go. It's actually gonna jump to the other side and it's gonna go towards the pink, and that's really how I add shadow colors for the red base. And then if I wanted an even darker shadow, I'll go even darker, go even more saturated, I'll go even a couple more points towards the pink, and that'll be the color stack that I'm going to be using to actually shade right here the lips tomorrow. So I wanted to really show you how to pick not only the base color, but how to really pick the variations that are based on the base color. Does that make sense, guys? So that's the base color. So the only thing that's left for the base color is the color. Okay, some people are saying it makes sense. I'm happy. The final base color that's left is the base color for the eyeballs. And artists usually struggle with eyeballs because they're obviously not the same color as the skin, right? And eyeballs are white. But if we take just a white color, like check this out, like if we just take like a white color, we go underneath like the irises, so we actually can stay clean. If I just add this white color right here, it looks a little uncanny because they're just too white and nothing else is white in the painting. So they just kind of take too much of the attention. So what I can do is, because we already have this white clothes, I can actually use the same color that I did in the clothes and the headband and use this color instead. All right, but even this color, it looks a little too intense. So what a great trick that I actually like to use for the eyeballs is to take the layer, let me show you, take the layer of the eyeballs and then just drop the opacity of that layer. So when I drop the opacity, you see what's happening with the eyeballs, right? So what's really happening is that this base color of the skin right here that we have, okay, and then we have this base color for the clothes. Because we're not using the full intensity of this base color of the clothes, it's starting to mix with the underneath color of the skin, right? And it's creating this new sort of grayish color right here. And that's the color that you're seeing right here in the eyeballs. Does that make sense? So this would be the base color that I'm using for the eyeballs, but you see this base color right here is really a combination from these two already existing bases that I have. So this is yet another way that I can kind of think about of a way to really match the base colors. So everything that I've been showing you up until now in this whole live stream is just different ways to just kind of color match your colors. All right, you guys saying this is cool, this is a game changer. Nice. I'm really happy this is making sense, guys. And I have a bunch more stuff to kind of show you with colors, but I think it's gonna make sense as you see more and more of the whole process, and it's really important for you to also apply it yourself. But this is not a rigid, like it's not a exact rigid thing, you know, it's just a way of thinking about colors so you can actually match them together. Does that make sense? So this right here would be the base color that I would use for the eyeballs, right? And if I wanted to create a shadow color, you guys remember how to do it? It's the same thing. It's darker, more saturated, probably too dark, and then a couple more points towards the red, okay? And then that will be the shadow. And if I wanted an even darker shadow, even darker, bit more saturated, couple points towards the red. That's how I would get a shadow for this eyeball. And then that would be this color stack right here for the eyeballs. So you've seen me really create these 6 color stacks for the portrait, and all the colors are looking good together because I'm really thinking about how to really match them. And it's not like some, you know, it's not some like super weird science thing. It's all these techniques that I've showed you. All right. I'm happy this is making sense. I'm seeing some comments this making sense. All right. So this is really the first step of color stacking. As I said, what I call color matching. All right. So we've done the color matching thing, and you know, we've already covered a lot of stuff about color, and I don't want to overwhelm you guys with too much information. So I want you to really like apply this thing right here so it could really click for you as well. And then in the upcoming days, I'll show you how to actually add the lights and shadows and really render the painting to really make it real and add even more colors to it. All right. But I really want you to apply this color stacking thing, the first step, color matching, so you can really like click for you. All right. So that's the first step. So before we end today, though, I want to kind of share with you some cool stuff. You know, like I enjoy the fact that you guys liked yesterday, like my little stories at the end. Somebody said it was like education and TED Talk at the same time. That's really what it is. We mixing education, TED Talk, and inspiration, motivational speaker. All right. But guys, I wanted to show you the progress. If you guys remember my student Varun that I talked about earlier, I wanted to show you the progress that he was able to achieve, you know. And if you remember, he had no experience, like almost no experience with digital art, and he was just mostly sketching, and really had done like only like a few digital paintings, and was really kind of anxious and overwhelmed by color. And yet, thanks to this build-up method and all this color stacking stuff that I'm showing you, he was able to achieve this progress right here. How crazy is this? How crazy is this, man? And you know, he's now creating like the traditional art and illustrations that he always imagined. And I'm super proud of Varun. Like, this is super amazing. And, you know, I want to be clear though, like Varun didn't achieve like this progress right here overnight, right? Like it didn't just happen right away. Like it still took Varun 1 year of practicing this method to really achieve this level right here. you know. And guys, obviously there's many different ways to actually, like, I want to say that there's many different ways to pick colors, you know, and to kind of shade and approach all these different things, and there's no right and wrong ways, you know. So I simply just want to show you this simple way that has kind of worked for me and my students. And you know, if it works for you, it works, you know. And that's kind of why I'm sharing this stuff with you. And what's even more crazy is this progress that Varun was able to achieve. You know, he actually did it while being full-time in college. So some days, like Varun, because you know, we was kind of chatting afterwards, and he kind of told me like his full story of what he kind of gone through. Like, he had some days only like 30 minutes a day to really practice the build-up method, and yet he really achieved this progress right here. And guys, I'm telling you this because I know that, you know, most of us have other things on the side, like you have a job, a school, a college, you know, and it could be really hard to dedicate time for actual art, you know, and life can really kind of get in the way of you doing what you actually want to do. And it's very easy to actually feel like, man, if I'm just not able to do this full time, it's just not worth doing because I'm never gonna achieve my dreams, you know. So I want to show you guys that you can actually improve even if you have limited amount of time, you know. And the fact that you have other things on the side can't really achieve, like, stop you from achieving your dreams. And sometimes even 30 minutes a day is enough, as long as you're consistent, guys, you know. As long as you're consistent, it's not like the drawing 8 hours a day for 2 weeks, you know. It's even limited amount of time, as long as it's consistent. And this is completely possible for you as well. All right, so I wanted to let you know that. And another example of this is my student Reza, who is actually a mom, and she has kids. And she also, like, as somebody who has, you know, kids, you have very limited amount of time, right? So she was mostly doing sketches, and she really struggled with colors and shading. And yet, this is the amazing progress that she was able to achieve using the build-up method, and really start drawing the portraits that she kind of imagined. Not only that, she did it in less than a year, despite like her limited amount of time. I find that super crazy. Shout out Reza though. She's a real warrior, like out here, like like painting limited amount of time with kids. This is crazy. This is crazy. And guys, I just really wanted to show you that you could really do this even if your time is limited, and anybody could really improve at drawing. It doesn't have anything to do with talent or anything like that. And guys, I'm really serious, like I'm so serious about you improving, and I love being a teacher. So before we end today, I want you to ask yourself like this question, all right? And it's a little bit of a personal question, all right? It's a little bit of a personal question, and I'm on my inspiration game, all right? But I want you to ask yourself, where do you want to be 1 year from now? Like, what do you want to have achieved? What do you want your art to look like? And most importantly, are you taking action to actually get there? And like, cause you might have noticed like 1 year passes like pretty quickly, and chances are this is not like the first time you're trying to improve. Like, how many times you might have thought like, man, if I was really locked in that one time, I would have already gotten better. Like, if I had like focused on this, instead I would have already done it, you know. And I don't want to let the fact that you might have not done it in the past to actually stop you from doing it now. And there's a great quote that I love so much that says the best time to plant a tree is 20 years ago, but the second best time is right now. Does that make sense? Like, you can't plant a tree before. The best time is right now, right? Because like, here's what's interesting. Like a year from now, let's imagine that I love the fact that you guys are saying action taker, yeah. Let's imagine it's 2027, all right? Let's imagine like a year has already passed. No matter like what you do, this year would pass, right? Like it would be 2027 in 1 year. So the question is, like, no matter if you draw or you don't draw, the question is, do you want to be the person who has spent time like drawing, or do you want to be the person who felt like, you know, nothing really changed, like it was kind of too late, so nothing really changed? So you're either gonna be 1 year older and better at drawing, or you're just gonna be 1 year older. Does that make sense? Like I always find that like super inspiring. Like that's good. That time is gonna pass anyway. And I find that people really overestimate what they can do in one day, right? Like they just put all these tasks for themselves, like just, oh, I could do this, I could do that. But they really underestimate what they can do in one full year, right? And this is because small tasks really stack up on top of each other and they make a big difference at the end. Like right now, just doing like a sketch or just doing flat colors, it won't really feel like anything has changed, like the change might not really be that big. But as long as you're consistent, these small changes would really add up over time. And all you need to really do is just take action. Like start small, but take action. All right. Put the words action taker, guys. Put the words action taker in the chat. Somebody says, "Is this therapy?" This is inspirational therapy, baby. This is what it is. All right. Let me see how many of you guys are serious about improving. I want to see how many of you guys are actually serious. All right. Action taker. Action taker. Nice. Action taker. Somebody says atomic habits. You know it, baby. And all these concepts and stuff that I'm sharing with you guys, they come from this book. I shared it yesterday. I don't have the cover, but it says it right here on the side. It's called Atomic Habits. And this book has really helped me, not only with my art, but just kind of like with, my mental game and kind of understanding improvement, So I really recommend this book. And all this stuff that I'm sharing with you come from this book. Shout out all the guys in the comments saying action taker, man. You guys are the mans. You the mans, action taker. So if you guys are action taker, I want you to add the base colors to your sketch right here. And you can download all of the materials, post it as well in our Discord. You can get all the materials at our website, 5dayportrait.com. I also want to remind you about our giveaway right here. That we're doing, and you can also watch the replays on the website. Oh man, you guys are amazing. Action taker, action taker, action taker. Oh, so proud of you guys. I actually have a special opportunity for all you action takers that are serious about improvement, but I'm gonna be sharing that tomorrow, and I'm just really excited about that. All right, so this was day 3 of the 5-day portrait challenge, where I shared with you the 3 steps of how I color my art, and this simple color formula that I use, and we named it. It's the poop method. That's what it is. Did you enjoy today's live stream, guys? Drop a W in the chat. Let me see you. So that was today, and tomorrow in day 4, I'll show you step by step how I really add the lights and shadows so you can really create depth in your portrait. All right, and tomorrow, guys, is gonna be a little bit longer because I have so many things to show you. All right, so make sure that you actually block out some free time tomorrow and be here. We're gonna go a little bit later. All right, www. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. I'll head over to the VIP section to answer some questions. And for everybody else, I'll see you guys tomorrow, same place, same time.